So, to start off this week, we're actually going to be taking a look at, well, for the entire week, almost, the Bad Batch series members, minus Echo, kind of, because I already reviewed Echo. So, yeah, maybe I'll review him again, but only short. But, yeah, I'm going to review one figure of this group every day. I know it's not 7. Technically, I do have Cad Bane, but I also reviewed him. He's from the Bad Batch series as well. So, with that little intro out of the way, this is the beginning of Batch Week, and, well, my May the 4th thing I had said I was doing with Captain Rex, and today's May the 4th. Star Wars Day. That's Star Wars Day. You know, we gotta do a Star Wars anyway. I was gonna do a Star Wars review either way for May the 4th, but this is the beginning of it, and we're going to take a look at the leader of the Bad Batch, that being Hunter. Up first, there is his box. It is there, very good. Number 1. If you don't know about him, there it is up there, along with a nice picture of him. And here we got Hunter, who isn't my favorite member of the Bad Batch. I've already said in the past during the Echo review that Echo and Crosshair are my 2 personal favorites out of the bunch. But this is probably the most developed, because by technicality, he's pretty much the main guy. He's the clone guy. He is the leader. But the thing with him is he's probably the least modified looking of the bunch, which we'll get to. His armor is obviously quite different from a standard issue clone. Looking at the arms in particular, you can 100% see that his left arm has a knife holster on it. It's crazy. The shoulders are completely different. The chest piece just looks really cool. It has a lot of nice dings and dents in it and scratches. Looks really good. Then the legs, they're actually kind of clone-like. The hip armor is anyway. The knees are completely different. The feet are actually just clone feet. And the shins are completely different. So there's actually a lot of differences, but there's also a little bit of reuse in him because he's a clone. Couldn't not do that. But as far as it goes, I mean, he is looking quite good. He does have his backpack, which doesn't have any functionality other than being a backpack. There's just a lot of good sculpting on him, though. Even looking at the back, look at that shoulder pad. Scrapes everywhere, all over the armor. He has been through a war. And it looks really good. Now, I don't know how long the Bad Batch were active in the Clone Wars. That's my whole thing. I actually don't know how long these guys were around for. Like, was it just towards the end, or were they there throughout most of it? Because they obviously got the name of 99 from the clone from the Camino arc that died, who was a defective clone. That's obviously where they get that name from, for their team. But it's a bit odd to, see that, I guess. As far as it goes, Hunter of the bunch is interesting. He's basically the Rambo clone, which, as you know, if you see him without the helmet, his ability compared to the rest is that he has very good scent and tracking ability. So he can actually feel like electronic fields and stuff like that. He's just really good with his senses for the most part. That's his whole thing. He's just really good at detecting things and finding things, hence the name Hunter. And I mean, I like his armor. It's cool, although he does probably have the most generic-looking helmet of the bunch, which I kind of want to talk about here. With that, the helmet is kind of weird because I realized it last night. It's almost like a hybrid of a clone and a stormtrooper. And I know someone's like, wait, what? That's what I realized when looking at it. I went and I was like, it kind of does have stormtrooper-esque qualities and clone trooper-esque qualities. It kind of has like the look of like an in-between. Like he was like the prototype clone to stormtrooper helmet type of thing. Because it has a lot of stormtrooper-y things, such as the smooth head. Like, I feel like this looks like a stormtrooper helmet from certain angles. Although I will say his hair's sticking out of the back. I've never realized that. I don't know if that's just me not having it on there good. That's exactly what that was. But it has clone things, too. Like, the visor is more clone than stormtrooper, but it's really close. This is more stormtrooper-y. It's kind of weird. It's like an in-between kind of thing. It is a unique helmet. All of the Bad Batch do have unique helmets from other clones, so I don't know. But that is that. Now let's talk about accessories, because he has a couple, obviously. Backpack is severed out of the box. Has a little T-peg. It comes off. It doesn't do anything. It's just there to be a backpack, really, just to be on the guy. He, of course, comes with the most standard issue clone thing known to mankind, a DC-17 pistol. Nowhere to store it, though. That's a shame. He also comes with a DC-17M, aka the Clone Commando gun. That's what I've always called it, because that's what I've always associated that gun with, is Clone Commandos. And yeah, it looks good. It looks really good. It's the first time we're seeing it, so it's nice. It is also a mag-fed blaster, which is unique for Star Wars, because not many of them are. So that's cool. And then he, of course, has his knife, which is on his left forearm, similar to the show. It's just stored there. Looks good, painted silver, and they got the yellow lines on it, which is good, which we'll see later on that doesn't carry on for the other guy with a knife. If you know, you know. But as far as it goes, that's good. And then his helmet is also a severed part out of the box. We gotta talk about his head anyway. As I mentioned, I've already had a detailed thing about this helmet looking stormtrooper-y, but that is that. It's a nice pliable helmet. It's not too hard to get on and off. And then his head is, like I mentioned, he's probably the most normal looking of the Clone Force 99 group. The Bad Batch are, you know, whatever when it comes to that. But he's the most normal. Again, he has this long hair compared to most clones not having that, obviously. He has his bandana, he has a little skull up there, and then he has his face tattoo, which is a half skull, which of course carries into the helmet, which is a really cool detail that I will always love. I think that that's cool, but again, he's just the most regular, but he doesn't look fully like a clone in this form. He has definitely the most clone-like facial features, but he doesn't look exactly like a clone, but he is the closest to a regular clone. And I mean, as far as it goes, that's the accessories. He does have a fair bit, but I wish he had somewhere to store that pistol. And here we go with the helmet. As I mentioned, easy to get on enough. I was wrong. It's a little hard to get on sometimes, but doesn't take too long. And I mean, yeah, that's essentially that. So let's just get into the articulation here, which is also quite good. He has a ball joint at the head, some very good movement, forward and back the arms, outward. These are on an O-ring, the shoulder pads, so they are severed. Does have a elbow swivel, elbow joint, hand rotation, in and out. There, and then this one has up and down, because they always do that. The waist is actually pretty unimpeded with these guys. The chest piece shape is a lot more rounded opposed to the typical clone armor with it being a little squared off. This is a lot more rounded. I like that. Forward and back, though, he does have clone hips. So, yeah, that's going to keep that little ridge there, which usually impedes a little bit of that hip motion. Knee joint, which is not double, it's just single. And he does have clone feet, so he has the kind of restrictive tilt, and forward and back is pretty alright. So yeah, that is essentially Hunter. So what are my final thoughts here? I don't think Hunter's bad, by any means. I think Hunter's a pretty good figure. No issues, no big, solid things wrong with him. He's just a pretty good figure outright. No issues here. Really good. But it doesn't stop him from, in my rankings of figures, being kind of in the middle, really. He's alright. He's just the most bland to me. I don't know what it is. There's just not a lot to him that makes him super unique. As I mentioned, he's basically the closest to a basic clone of the bunch. That's the whole thing. He's the most basic of the Bad Batch. Not that that's a bad thing, but he is the closest to a regular clone, in my opinion. But essentially, that is it for Hunter, and that concludes the first review of the Batch Week. But this has been my review of Black Series Hunter. This has been Elite signing out.